Hi, everyone. Welcome to Live with Janome. Let me put the camera on. Here we go. Hi, everyone. I'm Anne Hein, Embroidery Software Specialist for Janome America, and today we're talking about lettering and text tools. So with version 2, we've got a few extra tools, and I wanted to talk about those a little bit and show you that, and also just remind you about some other things with text and lettering and some fun things that you can do with it. Now, I did a little project the other day. Let me go to my camera here. And I stitched out those flowers from my the day we were doing create original artwork. And so these are my little Scandinavian style crafty flowers that I did. There you go. And then let me see if I do the zoom. Sometimes that's better. If I zoom a little bit, there we go. So there you can see a little bit better those flowers. And then we're going to talk about lettering. With the new V2, we have vertical text now. So this makes it very nice. And we also have spacing. So in here, I can increase or decrease the spacing between the letters. And I'll show you a trick I did adding that top letter in there. Okay. All right. So there's that. These were really fun to create, to kind of play around with different stitch patterns. Like down in here in the leaves, I did some different stitch patterns. Up here, I did kind of a squiggly row fill. And then here, this is a step fill, but that's kind of squiggly. I kind of wanted to mirror what was on this side. And then, of course, around the outside, I did that bean stitch on there. All right. And this is a little decorative stitch too around there. So if you watch that video, it's a little long for that video, but you can pass through parts of it if you want to. All right. So let me go back to the camera. Let me go put my software on, and there we go. All right. So I already have this open so you can see the little things here. But what I want to do is I'm going to open a new page, and let's go up here to new and show you how I did that vertical text, and show you a little bit of things with text itself. So over here, you'll find your text tool. Now, these are both in version junior and full version V2, okay, that vertical text. So to do the vertical text, anywhere you want to, you can click in here. Even if you want to start something out here, over here, wherever you click your cursor, typically it's going to fall the first time in the center, but anywhere you click is where it's going to start. And I always take it off center and bring it over here. And then this is your text, where you type in your text, and these are the fonts that you use. Now the fonts are broken into the XPG, which are these ones here with little zigzag. These are the pre-digitized ones that come with your software. Now the junior has a few less than the full program. And then you have things over here, your TrueType fonts. Now in TrueType fonts, you can install TrueType fonts into your computer. And then if you get them at a site called dafont.com, DAFONT.com, I've gotten a few there. This one here is an ornament one. This is bubble letters. This is bubble gum. So these are some that I've downloaded and installed to my computer. And there's various ways to do that. I've demoed that a couple of times. But if you just do a quick Google search, you'll find how to install a font into your computer. Now, if you have a BX font, you cannot install those or use those in AD. Those are proprietary to another software. If you have fonts that are already embroidery designs, those need to be used individually. But I found ways to work around that as well. So there's a few videos out there about that. But we're talking about TrueType fonts, the fonts that you'll find under your text tab right here. All right. Let me go up here near the top. And I'm just going to, I'm going to start right about here. So I'm going to click in here, and it already chose, because that's where I was last. And then I'm just going to type in here, let me see. There we go. And then I have it set at about a 20 font size, but you could always put your cursor in here. You could make it larger by scrolling. There we go. Let's go in the right direction. There we go. And then just to see what that looks like at the moment, I'm just going to click over there so I can center it back in here. There we go. So now you can see that, and I'm going to open it up. Now, one of the things, you can see I didn't put a capital here, and I have the capital there. So I can go back into my text, select my text, go back into text, and it's right up here in my little box. I can use my arrow keys to back up. Oh, you know what? That is a capital H in this font. It does a weird kind of capital H than the T over here. Now, one of the things I want to do two different words. So I am going to delete back the Thanksgiving, and I'm just going to click down here and type Thanksgiving. There we go. And I'm going to go back to happy. And I'm going to click back in my fonts. Now, I could scroll through and pick fonts like this and take a look, or I can click again right in here and then scroll with my mouse wheel. And I'm just going to, and actually, I can make this a little bit bigger as well. This is I think this is new. So we can really see what's happening over there. So let me scroll in here. So I can look at the different ones and decide, which one do I do like that one. It's one I used. I'm just going to go through. I think I'm going to find one that's going to look good when you put it on vertical. So now you can't really use one like that. That's kind of nice. Oh, maybe that would be nice. All right, so that's 077. So that's the one I want to use. I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to go to 077. So I'm just going to scroll through here till I get to it. Here we are. And now both my words are like that. Let me put isn't that nice, that sequence window? I like that. That's new. And then if it isn't new, I totally saw it in the other software all these many years. Anyways, I'm going to select these and then click off of them. My lettering, because that's how I set my default color, has the red in the center and a green outline. And you can see that down here. So I'm just going to select these and delete the outlines. I don't really want the outlines. I just want my lettering. And so there we go. These look pretty good. I think I like these. I'm going to take the Thanksgiving one, and I'm just going to slide it to the side here. Or maybe I'll do that one. I think I'll turn this one first to get it out of the way. So all I have to do is select my lettering, go to text, and then right up here under horizontal are the different ways we can place our text. Of course, we have things under envelope as well, but these are the ones we're working on right now. So this is vertical. I just have to click it, and now it's vertical. So I'm going to grab it and put it up over here so we can see it. There we are. So there it is, all lined up. Very nice, right? We'll make it go down a little bit so we can see it. And then if I wanted to bring it closer together or further apart, I just need to have it selected and go back to my text tab. Now I want to do all the changes within the text tab first before I do break apart, okay? Because once you break apart, everything's an individual character, and you have to work with each one individually. So right here is the new spacing, okay? And I'm going to bring it over here a little bit like this and try to zoom in just right here so we can watch it. And then I'm going to click in here and use my mouse wheel, and the number will change. Let's see, I think I got to go in this direction. I can see them getting a little closer together. It's slowly doing it. There we go. There we are. Now we're really close. There we are. So it's I'm going to click off of it so we can see. And back on. It is at -4.6. That's the space in between my lettering. So when I click off of that, you can see how close everything is. Now it looks like kind of weird when you have it like this, but it does have, nice parts to it. So under happy, I can do the same thing, go into my text, and we had the 077. I'm trying to think, that was at 32, so this is at 32 as well. And then this was at, I think, negative 4.2, but I want to first make it vertical, and then I can go ahead, I'm going to select it and move it over a bit like this. And then I can change the distance between them. So let's go back in here, click in here. If I wanted to match it, I think I was at minus 4.2, enter, and there you go. So I don't have to scroll to get that. So now both of these are at the same distance apart. Now it's based on the center of the letter. So just think of there's a line falling through here. Now that works great, like for this one here. But when you have certain letters that start at the top, and when I select these, you can see the dots are not lined up, and that's okay because it's working on really the center of the letter to center that over that. What happened is when I was here in my, let's see, my flower power ones, the F and the P, because the way they're shaped, to me, they didn't line up where I liked them. So I did something a little different. So I'll show you how I did that. But here's your Happy Thanksgiving. Now, once I get to this point, if I want anything I want to, done, if I'm done with text and I don't want to do anything else with text, I don't think you can do, you could do envelope and it's sideways. Let me see what happens with this one. Ooh, all right, look at that. See, sometimes you just have to play. Oh, I like that. And then over here, I could do that way. So it's vertical, but I've given it a envelope. And then the value here changes your envelope amount. If we had these, it can change the how much curve is there. So now we're at a 46. This one here, if I go up to a 46, you can see it's going out a little further. So you can actually use your envelopes. I'm going to say no envelope at the moment. Oh, I have to have something selected. There we go. Go back to this. So you can still, after getting a vertical text, you can play with your envelopes over here on the side, which that could be kind of fun, having something like this. Now the value is very high, so if I lower the value, this won't, there we go. You'll see. Now that's kind of cool. Let's try that with this one. That was this one here, and that's quite curvy. So let's bring that down to like maybe a 30, 28, something like that. Oh, I don't want to do that. Undo. I want to select all of it and move it over. So there we go. Look at that. Now I didn't know this earlier because I didn't play with that part of it, but this is really fun to do some vertical text and then to have it curve in this way. That's very, very cool. But let me show you how, you don't have to keep, I did a few of these, like the flower and the power. I'm going to go back to my text tab and I'm going to, well, let me just go to a new page, just as easy. And I'm going to click up here once I get my text tab. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to type flower. And I'm going to go back and look for something that's a little more chunky. So there, I've got that there. Click back in here and then just scroll. So that one might, let's see, I did put a capital F there. All right, let me look. This is the one I had used before. So here we are with flower. So I'm going to keep that one. And I'm going to select it. And It's at 32 now. I think I'll just make it a bit bigger. I'm going to make my sequence window a little smaller here, get it out of the way, and just make this maybe a 45, like that. And then I'm going to come over here to horizontal and make it vertical. So when it's vertical, it doesn't look too bad here, the lining up, because it is supposed to line up on the center of the flower. But if I went back in here and changed maybe this to a lowercase f, there we go. If I felt like it didn't quite align where I wanted it to, like I could just use the lower part, I could use just L-O-W-E-R and add the F afterwards. And let me show you that with power. When I did it with power, and then I did vertical, that one seems pretty okay. But let's change our spacing. Bring it in closer. Okay, so when I get this done, if this one wasn't quite right, some of the letters when you use them, visually they look like they might be off just a bit. So what I've done is in my text, I would put in like that, and then I'd go over here and do my vertical, and then I would click off of my letters to start my other one, and I put in my capital P, and then I'd align my P up over here. And maybe I wanted it more like this. So this is in line instead of the center of the letter. You see what I'm talking about there? So you don't have to keep all your letters together, and especially even with spacing. When I'm working with the lower ones here and I'm lessening the spacing, depending on the letter, they might not come up close enough altogether. So you can adjust that with the little handles right here. And I could do that with this as well. I could come over here and select this, and then I could move it this way if I wanted to. I don't have to put in the individual one. But sometimes I've done an individual one because I wanted a different font at the top of my letters, or as the capital. Sometimes I mix up my fonts that way, or my text that way. I can have more creativity. Maybe I don't see, this is kind of a weird F, and I'm not sure when I go into my flower power. Let's see. Yeah, see, I changed the F to one of these like more standard looking F. So if I came back over here, and I'm going to put an F in here, lowercase f, and then I'm just going to scroll through here and look for something that's a little, maybe that, let's just say that one. Okay, and I could bring that one in and align it there if I had not added this one there. I could move him out of the way just for now and align this one up on top. So I don't have to stay with the whole same font throughout the whole thing. I wouldn't, what I would do now is select this, come in here, use my arrow keys, and delete my F. There we go. And then I would take this F and move it up a little bit. And then I can align it using the little dot, the little square, and get it right where I want it. I can also go back into select and select here, go to my alignment tool, and I can align them centered this way using your alignment tool. All right, does that make sense? I mean, there's a lot of things, to remember to do, but the thing I like to point out is you don't have to use every letter in that alphabet if you don't like how it's coming out. Okay, you can switch them out, and then you can use your alignment tools to fix those. The other thing you can do is once you get your letters where you want them, and I'm going to select all of these and delete the outlines. If I wanted to break apart at this point, I could do break apart. So right click, break apart, And now that those, it won't have those threads between them. There we go. The other thing I can do is if I wanted to take these letters and I right click, I have the convert fill to center line. So if I wanted a center line text, and I don't know if this one will look good, we'll try it. I can click there and it made it a satin, which that's not really what I want. That's okay. And then I'm going to click on outline satin over here and make it running. And there I have a run line text. Now this is a weird text to do that with. You just have to find the right one. Let me go to Thanksgiving. Let's take it off the envelope for a minute. This one might come out a little bit better if I select it and then I'm going to right click, convert fill to center line. First it makes it a satin, so I'm going to change it to a running stitch. You might want it a satin, who knows. I'm going to make it a running stitch. And then now this one, ooh, this one looks nice. I don't mind this one at all. Let me go back in here because sometimes with that, I like to make it a maybe a bean stitch. So I went here to the stitches, and then in the top here I put B, and it brought up the bean stitch, the oval bean for me right there. All right, so let's see. And you can see that bean stitch in there now. Now that I have it, the way I want it, maybe let's see what this looks like with the envelope, because I did not break it apart yet, did I? Oh, I think I did because it's not selecting. Yeah, yep. Once you break it apart, or actually I did something else with it, I converted it, that's why it's doing that. But I can still break it apart to get right click, break apart to get away from those other parts. Okay, let me go back because I wanted to try this. This I think is kind of interesting. There it is with the envelope. Okay, and then I'm going to right click on it, convert fill to center line, go over to my satin serial and make it running, go into stitches, and let's put a B up here for bean, and we'll pick the bean stitch. Here I can change the length if I want a little longer one. I usually like a little bit longer one, maybe 3.0 mm. It'll auto convert. Well, it should auto convert if I had everything selected. There we go. 3.0 mm. There we go. And then when I let go, we'll go in close and look. There you can see it made it a line stitch. Select it one last time and break apart, and now all your letters are apart. So you can go from a satin stitch outline to a satin to a run line and then add a pattern to it if you wanted to, or a stitch to it. To me, this is really fun. And using the envelope now with vertical text, I mean, my brain is like clicking with a lot of different things that I would like to do on that part of it. So let's go back into the text tab here. And there also monogramming is under there. We'll have to play with monogramming on another day. But you do have your font size you can change here. If I didn't want to change it there, I can just click out of there, make sure my design is selected, and I could use my arrow keys like this, or I could come up here with proportional checked, and I could say, maybe I want to make this 150. I want it 50% more, so I would do 150. And it would make it 150% more for me. It goes back to 100% because now this design is the new 100%. So it's easy like that, okay? I'll review one time here really quickly since this is new. If I wanted to change my fill color in here, I could come down to my bucket, and then I would get my color wheel. Under here I have swatches. Here I have my different palettes that I reordered for the way I like to use them. And then I could come in here and maybe change it. Maybe I want them all to be blue. And once I hit blue, they're all selected. They'll all be blue. When I break it apart, I could go in here and change each color to a different color. So maybe I want to use this orange for that one, and then I'm going to come in here. Maybe I want to use a this orange for that one. This one here, maybe I want to go a little bit really bright orange, reddish orange there. In here, maybe we'll go into a brown, which is going to be down here. Let's try that one. And then this one here is maybe I'll make another brown, this very dark, whatever that is. There we go. So you can come and make all your letters a different color using the color box back here. If you needed an outline at this point, you can just click right above it like this. Whoops, nope, can't, got it, wait a minute. Select it. There we go. You want to select it first and then select the color outline you want. Let me do that again. I'm gonna select this A. So it's yellow. If I want it to have an outline, maybe I want it to have this red outline, I can click the red and it will now have a red outline. Okay, you have to have your piece selected. You can go to convert auto border if you want to do auto border, but you can quickly add an outline by selecting and clicking right down here on that part of it. I think this is going to be fun. And then, of course, you could do the same over here. These don't all have to be the same color if you don't want them to be. They can be different colors, or you can keep them all one color, however you want to do that part of it. So kind of fun in that way. All right, let me go back here for a minute and see. There's our flower power. And I used a rainbow thread in here to put these together. I'm really liking this, and I can't wait now. This would have looked good with an envelope, wouldn't it look good? Groovy, man, just groovy. I know it's a little much today, right? All right, let me think what else, where are we on this? Let me go back to here. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. I have to look at my notes here for just a minute. Let me go back to the software, and if you have questions that I didn't cover, you can always post them below. I'll come back and answer those. But let's go back under the text tab for just a moment to jog my memory. Of course, I told you, oh, you know what I wanted to show you? Underneath your TrueType fonts, you have fonts that are like this, ornaments, or they're called dingbat fonts. I think I have another one down here. I don't know. This one here, love romance. So, you know, when I type here, every letter is a different one. I don't know what they are. There, you can pull them up and find them. I just typed Janome. And so this is what I got. These are kind of cool icon, you know, little icons that you can use. I can take these and break them apart. And then these little chairs are really cute. And then if I need to make those bigger to use them, I can, like that. Look how nice those. Now I'm curious because we have two features that I think some people forget about. One is new and one is not. So I'm going to copy this one and go to a new page, and I'm going to paste this right here. And I'm going to go up here and do center to hoop. All right, that's really handy. Underneath your sewing machine right there, center to hoop. And then the new one is fit to hoop. So I can enlarge that. Ooh, that enlarged really nice. Look at that. So I know this isn't lettering, but, well, it started out as lettering. Now that makes me, oh, we can add some vertical text to that and create a whole interesting design for the upcoming summer. Let's go back to wherever I was. I think I was back here. Okay. And then, so those are your dingbat fonts, or your, sometimes they're called, yeah, see here, it's called Love Dings. And up here it was called, I don't know, ornaments or something. Well, they were Christmas ornaments anyways. So you may have some that you download that are not actually letters. They might be symbols, or what are called dingbats. And they're fun to play with. They're fun to find new little, I have a little dinosaur one in my other computer. What you load to one computer does not, things in the software does not go from this one to your next computer. I have to install the same ones over on my PC that I have in my Mac. Okay, so you'd have to make sure you remember to download them and put them in both places if you're using 2 or more computers on there. And of course, you can use 2 or more computers as long as you're following the proper procedures of closing your software with the X up in the corner, then finding your software key and selecting log out. My key on my Mac is up here. On my PC, it's over on the right-hand side here in the hidden tools. There's a little triangle there that flies out a window on this corner. And then some people have it in their taskbar down here. So that's where you'll find it's a little, when you're using it, it's a green circle with a white key. And then depending on where you are in the system with it, it changes to orange or red, depending on where you are. Okay. All right. Let me go back to my camera view. I think I covered everything. I just wanted to make sure that you, really one of the things you should do is to play with your software a little bit. Just sit down one day, maybe you're watching TV, pop up some lettering, and then play with the tools that are across the top, especially envelope. How fun is that going to be with our vertical text now? Ooh, I'm getting excited about that. If you wanted to type like a paragraph, you could start typing until you get to the edge of your hoop, and then you'd have to start another line. Okay, so but you can continue to type. You type it, click down here, continue to type, click down here. So it's more not quite restarting. But then after you get all your body in there, you can select all of it and use your align tool. Align doesn't show up until you have things on the screen, 2 things at least, that need aligning. Same thing with shape, and there's a couple others that do not show up until you have the right things on your screen to use them. So you'll notice that when you have more things on your screen, look up. It's the same way in our embroidery machines as well. For Janome, they don't put all the tools out there until you have something on the screen that will use those tools. Okay. All right, everyone, play with your letters. Send me some notes down below or post your projects to our Janome Artistic Digitizer Facebook page. We love to see what you're doing, and we'd love to answer your questions. So no question is, dumb or silly or whatever. Everybody learns from something. Even I've learned a few things lately. People are doing some amazing things with the software, and they're using photographs and converting them. They're using some of the other new features and making some beautiful, beautiful artwork. So give it a try, and you never know where it'll lead you. All right, everyone, be an artist. Have a great day. We'll see you again soon.